ERAYAK sent me this generator for an unbiased review. Sitting next to me, we have the ERAYAK 4500 watt peak 3500 watt running inverter generator. And as you can see, I took the cover off so we could have a look inside it together and we can assess the quality for ourselves of how it's put together. And then we're gonna run it and make sure it can handle the load it's rated for, because that's pretty important. And one first thing I noticed is it says tri-fuel inverter generator all over it, but the model that I requested and received is not the tri-fuel inverter generator, so it looks like they put the same stickers on every generator. This is in fact not the tri-fuel version, this is the gasoline only version. So let's have a look under the skirts of this thing. You'll notice first thing, the coil is mounted remotely. That should make it easier to replace. I actually kind of like that. The entire engine and everything's covered in plastic, which is typical with these inverter generators. They need to direct the airflow exactly where it needs to go so that you don't have any melted plastic or bad things happen. So this all looks fine. The panels on the side are held in with screws into metal inserts, so you're not going to strip out any plastic when you need to do service on this thing. That's good to see. And the same thing with the handle you have to remove. That is also a metal threaded insert. You come down here, you see the inverter board. It needs its airflow from the front. You cannot run these without the side panels on them because it relies on the suction from the engine blowing the air out the back where it's directed with these plastic shrouds to create suction on the front to cool the inverter board. Never run an inverter generator with the sides missing. Also, if you look at this recoil housing, it looks like if you sneak in here with a ratcheting wrench, there might actually be enough room to pull it forward and slip it out without taking the entire machine apart. Now, if you look around here on the other side, this is the side where you add the oil in. Same thing, metal threaded inserts for your bolts so that nothing gets stripped out in soft plastic. That's what the carburetor looks like. So it's not your standard Honda clone carburetor. In fact, when I look in here, it looks like maybe at some point you may be able to order a kit to add propane to it if you change your mind, because it looks like everything is here for it, but don't take my word on that, okay? I haven't had the propane one apart, and I haven't spoke to the manufacturer about that. One thing I did notice is, perhaps this is from shipping damage, is that this guide for the oil to go in, I wanted to leave that exactly how I found it, was broken off. It doesn't affect anything. The oil still went in with a funnel just fine, but this is supposed to sit here like that and help you guide the oil in to the engine. And it's just a thin little piece of aluminum, but there's no other signs of shipping abuse besides a little bit of distress on this piece of plastic here. So who knows what happened to it. UPS can be a bit rough with things. On the top here, you'll find a compartment to replace your spark plug easily. And there's tons of space in here, and this is not duct tape. At first, I thought this was duct tape. That is actually heat shielding tape for the gas tank. When you first unbox the generator, it comes wrapped in plastic and bubble wrap like usual, but you get this really nice canvas bag with some accessories in it. I think that's all of it. Let's have a look at the accessories here. You get an oil bottle that can measure up to 200 milliliters per go. You get an adapter to take the NEMA, L350 or something like that to a camper outlet, which is really nice. This is to charge a battery in your car or something from the generator, which if you're going to run a 3500 watt generator to charge a battery, you must be in real trouble. But hey, when you need it, it's nice to have. A spark plug wrench, and they even give you an extra spark plug, which means they might actually expect this thing to last more than 300 hours. That's good to see. I found one other bit of evidence of the shipping damage I mentioned. I didn't notice this when I popped the cover off. There is a crack right here. So yeah, this thing had an interesting shipping thing. There's also kind of a matching dent in the same area, so I don't know if something like poked this, but you know, it's together, it will work. One other thing I forgot to mention, and I'm gonna put the link to this down below, is that there's a deal on this right now where it comes with a wheel kit so you can roll it around and a cover to protect it from the elements outside. So here I'm gonna show the entire process super sped up of me putting the wheel kit on this generator. If you don't wanna see it, skip ahead about a minute. But as you can see, there's a lot of finicky stuff, and I use the included tools to get an idea of what the real user experience would be like. And the tools are not that great, but they're functional. And the wheel kit, to be honest with you, feels kind of like an afterthought. It's very finicky to put together. There's like so many little bolts to lock everything in place. And towards the end here, when I go to put it on, I will find out that one of the bars slides, which it doesn't tell you in the instructions, and that I need to flip the front two feet bolts around that go through the rubber anti-vibration grommets so that it will actually fit. So part of the diagram wasn't even correct, and I had to figure that out for myself. So the front piece by the handle, just flip the two metal things, just slide them off the rod and flip them around to make it actually go on. And remember that that part slides on the aluminum bar that you see there. The only other thing I would note is that the entire kit weighs like 10 or 15 pounds. So if you're going to carry the generator around by the handle regularly and not roll it around as often, say you're like, a stronger man, maybe you might want to go without the wheel kit and just carry it around and set it in the pickup truck bed, by hand and everything. Yeah. So after all our hard work, now we can roll it around. 20 minutes of work, and we got our cozy little blanket on here that came with it. Isn't it cute? Now let's get this thing where it needs to go and get it unwrapped and see how it runs, finally. So I thought I'd get a clip of me actually using the wheel kit. This is in normal speed, by the way. It's not sped up. And my thoughts were that I was very thankful to have it, and it is functional, even if it seems like an afterthought. Let me take you through a POV of firing this thing up. You're going to turn this fuel vent on. That's actually really handy, because if you turn it to the off position, it seals up the fuel tank so you can transport it inside of a vehicle, but you should not leave it inside of a vehicle unattended. Choke is start position, okay? So you turn it from stop all the way to the start position. That turns on your choke, and there's no ignition switch on the front, so you just give it a pull. And then I try to kill it because I'm filming. Oopsies. There we go. And turn it to the run position once it starts. And it started right up, no problems. We're gonna put a 1500 watt load on it. That sounds fine. I'm going to plug in the plug that goes to my charge inverter for my camper. So that cord we just plugged in comes into this electrical cabinet that runs our off-grid camper. I've been using this small inverter to save on the idle consumption on the batteries, and I've just been switching to this big one. Well, I need to run the microwave and stuff. Well, anyways, the generator comes into this big charge inverter, and right now the charging current's set to the lowest it can go. And we're gonna turn on the space heater, and that's gonna put us at like 3,100 watts, and we're gonna turn up the charge current until we get approximately to the 3,500 watt load the generator's rated for. So here we go. So there's our 3,000 watt load. Yep, that's working good. And you can hear the generator revved up again. And we're gonna go for the full amount. There we go. So, oh, we overloaded the generator. So the full amount with charging and everything is actually like 3,650 watts. So I'm not surprised it tripped. So to reset the inverter when it trips out, you gotta shut the engine off and restart it. Now be very careful about this chrome trim right here because it sticks out. It's not perfectly smooth. And when I grabbed this to pull it, my fingernail got caught on it and it ripped half of it off. And it hurts really bad, so I really don't recommend it. Be very careful with that trim right there. Oh, gosh, now I'm kind of scared to pull on it because of what it did to my finger. And my finger hurts really bad. There we go. Run position, chokes off. So there's 1,500 watts. And there's our 3,000 watts. And now I've got the charge inverter set to about 3,500 watts altogether between the space heaters and everything. And yeah, that looks good. Oh, I just saw the red light blink a little bit. So we're right on the bleeding edge of overload here. So maybe I set it to more like 3,550 watts, but it seems to be happily chugging along at that. So it seems like it can handle its rated load. The engine doesn't sound unhappy with it or anything, which is what is very important with a generator, is it can handle its rated load. Oh, my tripod died, so I guess I'll freehand the rest of the video. So this ERAYAK generator, did it meet its rated claims? I would say yes, it did meet its rated claims. And, it's got metal threaded inserts and everything. It doesn't seem like they skimped too hard on the quality. And it got banged up in shipping and broke off that oil fill thing, which wasn't great. And that chrome trim ripped off my fingernail, which wasn't great. but it works good. And, you know, it's light enough that you can carry it with one hand, one arm, if you're a guy like me. Now, this wheel kit, oh yeah, I hate free-handing. The wheel kit adds like 15 pounds to it, so if you're going to carry it around often, I would skip the wheel kit. It took 20 minutes to put on. It was very finicky, and when I followed the diagram, the front part I had to I had to flip the feet around to make it fit because it didn't quite line up the way it showed in the diagram. So I'm not very impressed with the wheel kit, but the generator seems good enough. And that's all I can really say about it. It seems good enough. So if you're on the market for an inverter generator that you can carry around that can do 3,500 watts of power and power your camper, and you think this is the one for you, please get it. This is the one for you. Please get it at the link below. I've got an affiliate link down there to Amazon to get the 3-piece kit with the weatherproof cover and the wheels and everything. But boy, putting those wheels on is so finicky. Very finicky. It almost seems like it was an afterthought, to be honest with you. Anyways, I'm going to run this thing to power our off-grid camper, and if I have any issues, I will update it in a comment pinned to the top below if there are any issues. Otherwise, you know, it's going to be running our camper the whole time, and if it's fine, it's fine, and that's what matters. Thanks for watching.